Here's your wrestling news for February 14th, 2023. And we're kicking off this Valentine's Day edition of Slat Rock with Brock Lesnar, who's more of a fighter than a lover. During this week's Raw, Lesnar and Bobby Lashley met to make their match at Elimination Chamber official, though Brock had signed the contract last week. When the Beast Incarnate called out Lashley, security personnel appeared with their own table and chair, and Bobby dared Brock to attack him. Lashley's private security proved to be no match for Lesnar, though the Almighty was the one standing tall after hitting a hellacious spear before he signed the contract for the match. On Twitter, fans were thrilled with the segment, with one fan even saying that Brock vs. Bobby has been better than the Bloodline Sami Zayn storyline. Another fan suggested that this angle is setting up the reunion of the Hurt Business, and Lashley could certainly do with some backup for this rematch with the Beast Incarnate. A feud with Lesnar was a large part of Lashley's decision to return to WWE in 2018, but what did you think of this segment? Let us know in the comments. When Lesnar appeared on Raw, he arrived in his usual cowboy attire, complete with hat, and showed a new side to his character. Lesnar even took the time to prank a young fan in the crowd, placing his hat on the child's head, only to take it away, much to the delight of the fans' parents. This more lighthearted side of Brock that we've seen since his 2021 return has been a joy for fans, as Lesnar has shown a ton more charisma than when he was with Paul Heyman and never spoke. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar will meet this Saturday at WWE's Elimination Chamber in the third singles match between the two, and while the Beast had his fun this week with the fan, it'll be no laughing matter in Montreal. Raw also saw an appearance by Sami Zayn, who will compete in the biggest match of his career this weekend at Elimination Chamber. Ahead of his hometown undisputed WWE Universal title match with Roman Reigns, Zayn appeared unannounced on Raw and called out a potential future opponent of his, Cody Rhodes. Zayn recalled Cody's impassioned promo and asked the 2023 Men's Rumble winner if he truly meant it when he said that Zayn could dethrone Reigns at Elimination Chamber and go on to WrestleMania 39. Rhodes responded that he meant it and asked Sami if he thought himself he could do it, and while Zayn said he is sure he is worthy of the title and being in the main event, he stopped short of saying he could beat the Tribal Chief. After all, it was during his time as the honorary Uso that Zayn saw just how vicious Reigns can be and knows that Roman will do anything to keep his title. Rhodes told Zayn that the entire reason that there is dissension in the bloodline and that Reigns looks vulnerable is because of Zayn, and encouraged him to do what he said upon his Rumble victory: finish the story. Cody Rhodes will challenge for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 39, but who should he face, Sami Zayn or Roman Reigns? Share your views and what you thought of this segment in the comments. When Roman Reigns transformed into the Tribal Chief in late 2020, he did so at the expense of his cousin, and the pair would have a handful of matches. Though Reigns would win at Clash of the Champions and Hell in a Cell, it was Jay who would actually get the first win between the two, as fans shared online recently. During the September 23, 2013 edition of Raw, Roman Reigns lost his very first match on Raw in an 11-on-3 handicap match, and who pinned him? None other than Jey Uso. Not only that, but Reigns was the very first person eliminated from that match, something neither man will have forgotten. Of course, the Roman Reigns we see today is a much different person than the Shield's quiet heavy hitter we saw in 2013, but never forget that in the conflict between Reigns and his cousin, it was Jey Uso who struck first. It's been over 10 years since Seth Rollins made his WWE main roster debut as part of the Shield, and the Architect has seen a lot of names come and go in that time. As for Rollins, he has done quite well for himself, becoming a multi-time world champion and one of WWE's best booked stars, and his veteran status has made him something of a locker room leader. During a recent appearance on the Pat McAfee show, Rollins opened up about the perception of the locker room and shed some light on the relationships between WWE superstars. From the outside, you'd think it's a cutthroat business, and to an extent it is in some capacity, because everybody wants that top spot and everybody wants to grow as a performer, and the higher up you are on the card, the more money you're going to earn, and that's the bottom line. But I can totally understand where you're coming from when you come in. There's still a level of respect. It's like when it's Sunday and it's game time and you're gonna go out there to kill somebody, right? You're out there to take somebody out, but as soon as it's not that time anymore, as soon as the game's over or, the play is over, you help the brother up off the field, and that's where we are. Rollins added that while every superstar hopes to one day be number one, that doesn't mean there isn't camaraderie within the locker room. Yeah, everybody wants that top spot. Everybody wants to be positioned better than everybody else. But at the end of the day, there is a level of respect for everybody that plays the game, and so there is a brotherhood. There's a fraternity to that. Rollins is very fortunate with his position in WWE, but the architect isn't afraid to tear the house down with people far lower on the card, as the former Universal Champion acknowledges that being in WWE means being a part of a team. When fans see Rollins on TV, the former Universal Champion's drip game is on point, and this week, his boots got plenty of attention. On Raw, Rollins donned huge red shoes, which are based on the iconic boots worn by Japanese anime character Astro Boy, and these shoes set Rollins back $350. If you go to StockX.com, a website dedicated to the sale of sneakers, apparel, electronics, collectibles, trading cards, and accessories, the starting bid for the shoes is $1,119, so Rollins certainly paid to look his best on this week's Raw. It wasn't long after his underwhelming debut on Raw in 2021 that Karrion Kross was released, only to be rehired by Triple H in the summer of 2022. Upon his arrival, WWE instantly teased a top spot for Kross, who watched the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match at Ringside for Clash at the Castle, but the SmackDown star hasn't gotten close to a title match. Speaking with Josh Martinez of New York's Z100 station, Kross was unusually candid about the standards of a WWE superstar and his position on the card. This is probably unhealthy and I shouldn't say it, but I'm just gonna say it. I actually get really pissed because it's not enough. It's not enough. I haven't reached my full potential yet, and people haven't seen my best work yet. I know what I can do, and at this level, you need to be afforded certain types of opportunities, which is difficult with a big roster and only 2 hours of the program. And I know that once I'm afforded that particular shot, because I've been afforded a lot, let's not get it twisted, once I am afforded that particular shot to demonstrate what I can really do, what I've done where people on a major scale have seen it, people are going to be blown away. And I'm gonna fight for that every single week to get closer and closer to that shot. And I'm being straight with you. I'm being very real. Kross added that when he's given the allotted time, then he will give some great storytelling, and said that it is his job to let fans see layers to his opponents that they may never have seen before. Since returning, Kross has traded wins with Drew McIntyre and feuded with Rey Mysterio, but he is far from the world title picture that he was seemingly in just a few months ago. Kross lost an Intercontinental title #1 contenders match last week, and his most recent win was over a month ago on the January 6th SmackDown. And what do you think is next for Karrion Kross? More from Raw, as the show's triple threat main event saw Bianca Belair face Becky Lynch and Bayley, and had either Lynch or Bayley won, they would have earned a spot in this weekend's Elimination Chamber. Unfortunately for both, that didn't happen as Belair won, and it was Io Sky and Dakota Kai who cost Lynch the match. It was clear that the road to WrestleMania for Becky Lynch will go through Damage Control, and Lita's return last week could also set up Trish Stratus's return, culminating in a possible 6-woman tag match at WrestleMania. With neither Lynch nor Bayley in the Elimination Chamber to determine Bianca Belair's next opponent, that match will feature Asuka, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, and Natalya, but who will emerge the victor? Since returning to the Rumble, Asuka's new aura has been a breath of fresh air for the Empress, who tapped out Morgan on this week's Raw, giving the Japanese star momentum going into the Chamber. With Lynch and Bayley not competing, Morgan and Asuka are the only logical options to win. But who do you expect to see walk out of the Chamber victorious and walk into WrestleMania to challenge for the Raw Women's Championship? On this week's Raw, the Judgment Day got the better of the Grit couple as Beth Phoenix was taken out by Rhea Ripley. The Grit couple was destroyed, but they vowed to show the Judgment Day who is boss at Elimination Chamber. And while we expect the Hall of Famers to win in Montreal, expect this feud to continue, culminating in the rumored Hell in a Cell match between Finn Balor and Edge that was scheduled for the Rumble, but now is expected to take place at WrestleMania 39. We've got an update on MLW's antitrust lawsuit against WWE, as this week, a U.S. District Court judge dismissed the suit while also giving MLW 21 days to submit an amended complaint. The initial suit claimed that WWE interfered on MLW's dealings with Vice TV and Tubi, claiming that the bigger promotion cost MLW vital rights fees and television exposure, and while MLW founder Court Bauer responded by saying that his legal team is already at work and they intend to pursue the case, this will be no easy feat for MLW. And we're ending today with AEW's Wardlow. And with his jacked physique and use of the powerbomb, it's hardly surprising he's been compared to Batista. Wardlow has admitted to being inspired by Batista in the past, and during the latest Being the Elite, the former TNT champion gave some nods to the Animal. When asked about joining the Dark Order, Wardlow said, "I walk alone," the name of Batista's theme, but when asked if this was a nod to Batista, Wardlow denied the idea. Wardlow did acknowledge Batista by his real name Dave Bautista, and referring to him as an actor, and before parting ways, Wardlow emulated the Animal's signature entrance, Machine Guns. Batista last wrestled in 2019 and continues to make a name as an actor in Hollywood, but the influence the Evolution member had is clearly being felt to this day.